Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Train Sim World, and welcome back to the Ruhr-Sieg Nord DLC. I hope I'm saying that right. If I ever mispronounce a word in a language other than my own, please know that I'm doing so unintentionally. I take language very seriously, and I always try to be as respectful as possible to other people's language. Sometimes I just mangle things a little bit. So, this is going to be scenario number 3. This is returning empty. A fresh rake of empty wagons must be hauled north to, there we go, there's one of those words. Letmata, to keep the wheels of commerce turning. Well, I mean, we got to keep the wheels of commerce turning. We really don't have a choice. So let's get her going. And once we get rolling here, I'll tell you what's going on in, well, everything, you know. How I do in my videos. Here we go. Returning empty. A train of empty wagons has been formed up at Plettenberg. These need hauling back to the supplier for the next shipment of product. Climb aboard and get going. You got it. All right. Oh, other end? Okay. We can do this. This is the first time that I'm seeing this DLC with rain. So take a look at a little bit of weather. Close the door, climb aboard, and activate the battery by holding it for 5 seconds. We can do that. So. There we go. Okay, and we get a little light. I just noticed that. I didn't see that last time. So, sit in the driver's seat, charge the brakes, set the master switch to neutral to charge the brakes. Master switch is our reverser, is it not? There we go. And we got some, we got some levels coming up, some meters coming up. There we go. And I've got some strain gauges and a speedometer in front of me, but I don't see brake pressure gauges on the instruments, right? Oh, okay, here we go. They're over here on the side. Set the master switch to forward and train brake to full service. So that's forward. This is really nice with these trains moving around. It gives a very immersive feeling, right? Really brings the map alive. Set the master switch to forward and train brakes to full service. One more. There we go. Brake handle test. Set the train brake to position 1B. 1B, there it is. Start up the locomotive. Set the pantograph to raised and MCB to closed. Pantograph, raised. MCB, closed. Activate the lights. Headlights on. Set those to bright. Cab lights on. Set the headlights to bright and release the parking brake. Parking brake is on this train. It is here. Parking brake is released. Depart when ready. So we are going to release our brakes. We're going to sound our horn. This is tricky with a gamepad. And then we can start rolling. There we go. So, where are we going? We've got, okay. Do we need to give it a little more? There we go. It was not giving us our next destination until we took the throttle up a little higher. Okay, so we're going to couple to this formation, which is about 350 yards away. Everything still looks pretty good. I have to say it is a little bit, frame rate is down a bit. And I'm assuming that's because of the rain. Where is our wiper? I think we can go intermittent. There we go. Yeah, frame rate is down a little bit. We are in a yard and it is raining. So you put those two things together and that can ding your frame rate a little bit. Although I have to say it still looks pretty good. Pretty good. No complaints. And we'll see how things look when we get out of the yard and see if we don't pick up a little FPS. Man, there are some of these yards, when you look at the overhead map, there is such a volume of track, and I assume it's all live track. So that is going to, I don't want to say unfortunately, it's just a fact that it's going to cut into your frame rate a little bit until I get my new system, until I get my 4K system. Hopefully, at that point, some of our problems we don't really have problems with FPS, but I can't always run the settings that I want to run. And currently, my system is not even capable of rendering in 4K, but my next system will be. And I'm really looking forward to that. So, couple to formation. Stop against the train and manually connect the couplers. All right. Hop out in the rain. Did we get close enough? We did. Beautiful. Shut down the cab. We can do that. Set the master switch to off and train brake to release. I'm going to do a couple other things first just because I'm a little bit, you know what I'm talking about. I'm a little bit that way. Set the master switch to off and train brake to release. Off. And then this is going to go to release. There we go. Okay. Deactivate the lights. Off. Set those to where they were. Turn the cab lights off. And then head to the other cab. Okay. Here we go. Now, you know what? I've done this a couple times. Before I forget, let me see if there is a communicating door. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay. I know on some of the other locomotives in the sim there is a door between the two cabs. Come on, give it. There it is. Right. Now I did finish scenario number 2 off camera, and I'm getting a better feel for the brakes. Right, activate the lights and set them to bright. There's bright. Instrument lights. Turn those on. Set the master switch to forward and train brake to full service. All right. There's forward. Oh, golly, some kind of sound. There's full service. Brakes test okay, so we're going to set that to 1B. Here's 1B. Depart when ready. So I am going to do this. Just something I've gotten in the habit of doing. Okay, so release all brakes. All right, give a little toot on the horn. And here we go. Stop location, Letmata 103. Let's get moving here and then we'll take a look at the map. Let's see where we are. Okay, looks like we've got a bit of a run. Okay, cool. Well, let's do it. And we're at what? We're at about 10 minutes right now. And we'll just roll till either till we get there or till about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then call it an episode. They say 45 minutes, but I find that the time estimates for these scenarios, I don't know. They're estimates, I guess. That's a nice way to say it. They're estimates. So, let's hop outside. Man, that is really loud outside. Okay. Not a big deal. Okay, there's our marker. It's off to the side. 14 miles. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Our frame rate is picking up a bit as we're leaving the yard. So that works for us. And same place. Yep, same place. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Man, I say this all the time. It is an awesome time to be in sim gaming. Like, I realize that what we're looking at right now is not that big a deal, but just all these things put together, these games are so unbelievably realistic and immersive. Amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. So we are waiting for, hopefully, we're going to bump up our speed here soon. And it looks like the sun is coming out. Now, I honestly don't know off the top of my head if this game has dynamic weather or if rain equals rain, but it seems to be clearing up a little bit. So I'm curious if they've implemented dynamic weather. And there is our speed limit. I just saw that. I'm not sure how long it's been up there. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully not too long. Okay, and we've got... it's a decent sized train. But we're certainly picking up speed quickly, so... This locomotive has a little torque to it. And our frame rate is picking up as well, so as we suspected once we got out of the yard. Really smooth. It's got that electric locomotive feel and sound to it. Very nice, very nice. And I'm curious, now they are saying 45 minutes for this scenario, but it's 13 miles at 60 miles an hour. That's not, we're going to get there in no time at all. So I'm curious if we're not going to have some something going on between here and there that's going to make the trip take a little longer, which is also not a bad thing. One of the things that I've noticed about CSX Heavy Haul, the actual CSX Heavy Haul gameplay and scenarios, is it's kind of, you sort of get in the train and just put the throttle down and go over the pass. There's some braking on the other side, but there's really not a lot of, you don't really do a whole lot in CSX Heavy Haul, which is, it's realistic perhaps, but it's not the most compelling gameplay, certainly not on YouTube. So I do like when there is something to sort of break up the... We're getting to a tunnel? I think, well, it must be. Okay, cool. Something to sort of break up the gameplay a little bit. I like that about the Rapid Transit DLC and also the Northeast Corridor DLC. Very nice. Yep, frame rate keeps picking up, and it's looking like it doesn't seem to be raining nearly as hard as it was. So I'm wondering now, is there dynamic weather, and has there always been dynamic weather and I just didn't notice it? Curious. And there was a route for Train Simulator 18, and it was the Arosa line, and it went up into the mountains in, oh, I hate when I do this. I don't want to be I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody's country, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the developers and all the work they put into these games. But I want to say Austria, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, somewhere in the tri-border area, and it was nice. It was a very scenic, very picturesque route up a valley, and from what I read of this DLC before it came out, it was similar to that. Kind of scenic. Oi, let's get some brakes on here. Kind of scenic, and there's a lot of traffic on this line as well, which I don't mind. Come on. Which I don't mind. I like seeing the other trains out and about, and it definitely brings some life to a gameplay area. I'm just going to put these wipers on and leave them on. I don't know if this weather is dynamic and we're going in and out of rain, or if I'm just sort of seeing it differently. You know what I mean? Like from different angles and different amounts of sunlight. Sometimes it seems like it's raining and other times it does not. But we'll just leave those on. Not a big deal either way. Right. I know it's loud when I go third person, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. Frame rate came up a bit as we left the yard, but it's... Oh, wow. Okay, it just came up. Well, I'm sorry, we went in a tunnel. Just as I looked up at it, it went up to 60, but we're in a tunnel. So we've been mostly in the mid to high 30s. I thought we would go higher than that when we left the yard. So I'm thinking it may be the rain. Yeah, and we just drop back down to 35. Okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. And I don't want to sound like I'm... that's not the game's problem. That's my system. But I feel like... I feel like my system does all right. This is just a really kind of a big... It's not one of the absolute... legendary games for beating up a graphics card, but it's I think it's fairly intense on your GPU. So anytime I make a comment about my frame rate dropping or anything, that's not a reflection on the game. That's mostly just an observation about how well my system can handle it. And I'm really keeping an eye on our grade indicator. also, oh, there we go. I was just wondering where our information window had gone, and just as I said that, it popped back up. I know I've said this before in other videos, but this game has a really good sound palette. There are a lot of, you can hear the main sounds, but there are a lot of sort of, I guess, auxiliary sounds or ancillary. There are other sounds that sort of fade in and out in the background that really, I don't know, gives it a sort of an authentic feel. Not that I've spent a lot of time on electric locomotives in Germany, but you know what I mean. Feels like the scenery is improving as well. I don't know if you're getting that impression, but from, I guess it's been a year since CSX Heavy Haul came out, since Train Sim World came out. It's been a year. It feels like the scenery is improving. Just getting a little more, you know what I mean? Taking a look at this render. Let's hop outside again. Scenery seems to have been improved, I think. And I also noticed, and I'll have to go back and take a look at this in the replay, but it seemed like the pantograph was tracking up and down based on the distance to the overhead electrical. And I'm not sure if I was seeing that correctly or if it was just the angle that I was at, but man, that would be an unbelievable detail. I'll take a look. I'll see if we have that feature, and I guess I'll have to take a look at some older videos, maybe NEC, and see if that's been there all along, and I'm just noticing it for the first time. And right, we're actually making pretty good time on this trip. So unless something somewhat, maybe not dramatic happens in the next 4 miles or so, we're going to be done, I think, faster than 40 minutes. We're at about 25 minutes right now. Well, we'll see when we get there. Yeah, very, very atmospheric with this rain, very immersive. hop back outside again. Every now and then I'll hear a significant change in the tone of the locomotive, and every time I hear that, I think my deadband switch tripped, but that's never the case. I'm not sure why and I'm guessing because everything else is so realistic in this game, I'm guessing that that's some real function of this locomotive in real life. But it is weird when it gets so quiet like that, and I don't know if you're able to hear it in the audio, but it sounds like it's beginning to break. Yeah, this is going to look fantastic in the snow. It's going to look just like Christmas. Beautiful. I am leaving my wiper on in the tunnel just because I don't want to mess with it every time. Same as in Euro Truck. I don't know what it is about Euro Truck. I guess there aren't that many tunnels in American Truck Simulator, and also not a lot of rain with it being the American Southwest. But in Euro Truck, there's a lot of tunnels and a lot of rain, and I will sometimes leave my wipers on in the tunnel just because I don't want to turn them off and then turn them on again. On the RJL Scania, there are so many wiper settings, and it takes quite a few clicks to cycle through all of them. So, we're almost there. All right, we're 28 minutes, just about 28 minutes. Yeah, we just normally, well, I say normally, in the two scenarios that I've done so far, we did okay when other trains were passing us, but that time we did spike down pretty low, so I'm curious if it's the rain. I think it almost has to be, but not the end of the world. Right, well, we're just about there, so unless there's quite a bit of yard activity when we get in, I think we're going to do just fine on time. was trying right there to get rid of this colored marker on the track. I'll need to look in the tutorial and see how to get rid of that. We got rid of this one. I'd like to get rid of that other one as well. And actually, while I was doing that, we lost that one. I need that one. Okay, how'd we do? That's it for this shift. A local crew will take it from here. Fantastic, okay. Sometimes there's more to do. This one we just drove from end to end. Park the locomotive, set the master switch to off and parking brake to on. We can do that. Okay, parking brake to on. Parking brake is here. Parking brake, release, parking brake, apply. Okay, lights, deactivate the lights. We can do that. Reduced, off, turn those off. Climb down and ensure the locomotive is locked. We can do that. Turn the wipers off. Off, okay. Where are we headed? Nope. Other way. There we go. Now, for this, we will have to turn this back on. Yep, or I'll never be able to find it. Right, there you go, folks. I think that's it. Thanks for stopping back to join us for another episode of Train Sim World. This is the Ruhr-Sieg Nord DLC on Train Sim World. There we go. Is that it? Cool. We're done. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next time. Take care now.